A very good evening on behalf of India FinTech Forum. I am Aditya Raj Kothari and I have Mr. Bhavan Patel, co-founder and CEO of Lendon Club, who has joined me to discuss about peer-to-peer industry and his entrepreneurial journey. He co-founded Lendon Club in 2015 with the vision of having an enhanced investor experience. His ambition is not just to be a successful entrepreneur, but to be a contributor to the nation by disrupting the fintech space. A very warm welcome, Mr. Bhavan Patel.
Thanks, Aditya.
Coming to my first question, Lending Club is India's largest peer-to-peer lending platform with over 35 lakhs plus borrowers, 20 lakh plus investors, and around 2,000 crores loans dispersed. What was your inspiration behind starting Lending Club? What has led to this success?
So, Aditya, I spent around 7, 8 years working with NBFCs at a very ground reality, where I understood India's lending businesses who are connected with tier 3, 4 cities and rural areas. And what I realized is the credit flow is a very big issue in India's lending ecosystem. So, majority of the NBFCs are dependent on banking capital, and norms keep changing. They are only chasing capital side of the business and not focusing on technology, or not being able to focus on building better products, etc. So the idea which came up is that if we have to resolve this credit flow problem, probably we have to come up with some innovative business model or innovative credit flow model, which doesn't exist in the market. And that is how we thought of bringing two different type of people on board on a technology platform, one of which can give money and one of which can take money. And that is how we started Lending Club in 2015.
Okay. Lending Club envisioned India's to become a global fintech leader. Recently, Lending Club launched a venture fund called Lendon Alpha. How can startups benefit from this?
So see, the vision of creating this platform is very, very big. So what when we started in 2015, our idea of to establish this company as one of the top 10 lenders in India by 2030, right? So we started company with 15 years vision from the day of starting. So over last 6, 7 years, we have already built a huge technology platform, very robust ecosystem in terms of P2P lending, and we are expanding at very, very aggressive rate. So the plan was to add some more flavors to it. So what we believe is the value cannot be built alone. The value has to be built at the ecosystem level, and that is a shared value. Which we have to spread across different people, different companies as well. When, as and when we started expansion, we established ourselves as a profitable company. We got such a huge base of user. The idea was to leverage all of this. So probably we have such a senior team available at our end, with people with an average experience of 15, 17 years across startups, corporates, etc. But there are many startups available in the country who does not have access to such a talent, or they don't get guidance, and because of which they are unable to create larger impact on the society or the economy. So we thought, why don't we come up with an idea of extending all these resources which are available with Lending Club and share those with our budding startups who are either at idea stage or just launching their products. And probably along with us, they can also grow their product. Indirectly, that will bring value to Lending Club, but at the same time, we will also have a feeling of added value to these companies and help them expanding their footprints or building better businesses.
Yeah. While P2P lending has revolutionized the way people borrow and invest money, the burst of blockchain technology has changed the way fintech industry operated. In other words, it is now believed that blockchain technology holds the key to the future of P2P lending market. What are your views on this point?
So, see, what we believe is a blockchain is a good concept of technology. Now, currently, there are not many use cases which we are seeing in the market which are available on the commercial usage. But at the same time, we believe that technology concept is very good, and over the period of next few years, that will not just expand into government related things where you have to get those authorization from different parties, and those can be put up on the blockchain system. But that will also expand to banking transaction, regulatory environment, and possibly platforms like us, wherein there are multiple type of parties available: investors, borrower, platform, and many more. Probably that adds more collaborative angle, or kind of cohesive effort of all these people coming together and achieving some larger goal. So we believe that blockchain is going to play a much larger role over next 5 to 10 years, though it may not be just restricted to uh, currencies which are currently connected, and it will be expanded to many more things, including P2P investments or lending.
The China P2P lending market, which is considered largest in the world, with 50 million users and outstanding loan size of around $200 billion, has witnessing rapid shutdown largely due to report of defaults, sudden closures, and frozen funds. What precaution steps can we take to avoid this in India? How India is building a strong P2P lending framework?
So I would say that India is a very incredible market, and here things are very different than many developed countries as well as countries like China. So in China, we see growth of many things which goes much faster towards the north, and then falls down towards south also at the same speed or even at higher speed. And there are reasons. There are ways in which different economy works and reacts to different things. If we specifically look at India, we should be very thankful to the Reserve Bank of India and their policies, that their approach is very cohesive, and they look at protecting people and overall economy. So whether we consider an example of 2008 crisis or any other crisis, Indian economy saw the minimal impact compared to many emerging economies or developed countries, right? Similarly, here also RBI was very proactive in terms of bringing regulations of P2P lending. So I believe they might have identified the potential growth of this sector and how it can add value to overall lending ecosystem in country. So from 2015, they were active. They started discussing with players. They started studying the market. They came up with the white paper. Then they came up with consultation paper. They came up with early regulation. I haven't seen RBI coming up with regulation so fast on any other lending side of businesses. But here they came up because they knew that there is a potential. If then that can be nurtured well, possibly we will see much better results over next decade. And so that proactive approach played a very good role, that boosted confidence in the mind of investors and the borrower who come to P2P platforms like us. Though a lot of time people feel that it slowed down the growth in the initial phase, but today when you see some thousands of crore worth of industry which has been now set up on the basis of those regulation, we see that it was really good, and a good step taken by the Reserve Bank of India. Going forward, I think now Indian economy is growing, or I would say leapfrogging in terms of digital transaction, and all those is going to play a very larger role in creating better lending ecosystem in the country, and we want to be one of the very significant player over there.
Since P2P lending is a form of crowdfunding that offers personal unsecured loans to individuals and small businesses, one of the most challenging problems facing the market now is the fraudulent activities from the players in the market. How is Lending Club able to solve this problem?
So see, on that part, our risk and credit team continuously keep working on. There is a cohesiveness between risk team, credit team, and the collection team, and they keep sharing their experiences and as and when any violation of the process is registered. So it's an ongoing activity. So at different time, you find different behavioral pattern of the user. Something is unusual. Some people trying to put in information, deleting those again and again in the same field, trying to bypass system or trying to fraud the system. So there are many type of checks and balances which we set internally in the system, and there are many third party data bases which we ping before we approve any loan application. So I would say that it's an ongoing activity which we continuously do on a real-time basis and try to identify any fraudulent activity on as and when we approve any borrower. However, sometimes that might be left out in certain exceptional cases, wherein if that comes back to us after we have disbursed the loan or something, we initiate the legal action on those specific borrower, as well as we try to see why that happened and how we can overcome that kind of substantial situation in future if at all that arises.
Okay. What are the most important changes that you have seen in the customer behavior post-COVID?
If we talk about investor side, I think the adoption rate has gone up very fast. So earlier, people were not so digital savvy in terms of new age investment option. But we have seen almost 5-6 times jump in last 2 financial years every year in terms of for the amount of investment which flows to the platform. So I think that's the biggest change which we have seen in our ecosystem.
London Club has raised over 10 million in Series A round. Tuscan Ventures, home stockbrokers, Arthur Venture Funds, Corporate, Hardik Pandya, Indian cricketer, are few of your investors. What does your growth strategy looks like for the upcoming years?
Yeah, so strategy is simple that keep building better products and ensure that you are adding enough value to the customer. Right. Once you have good products, it is very easy to sell those products to the customers and creating better distribution network. So far, whatever we have built or the amount of loans we have disbursed, more than 3,000 crore by now, we have reached to a small tip of the iceberg of Indian lending ecosystem. So we believe that we want to utilize this opportunity and the users which we have acquired so that they can become our advocate and go to the market and speak to people that this is an instrument available in the market which can be leveraged to make investment, and probably you earn better returns. At the same time, you are also helping economy by giving credit to other people who will consume that money and contribute towards the growth of the economy. As I said, strategy is divided into two, three parts. One is building better products or improving the existing product, reaching out to more users and adding more value to existing users so that they become our advocates and help us spreading our wings.
Coming to my last question. It has been more than half a decade since you founded London Club. What are your advices for the upcoming entrepreneurs?
Just stick to it. Focus a lot on what you wanted to do and with what purpose you started the business. So over last 7 years, definitely there were instances where uh, probably I might have also got pushed by external factors, environment, people, that probably is not something you should continue working upon. Right, but that doesn't matter because you are so convinced about what you are doing. Again, I'm not saying that one should be rigid about what they are doing, but they should focus and weigh in all possible option or whatever they are doing time to time, and ensuring that they have enough faith on the product or the company they are building. I think that should be more than enough for anybody to keep working many years on that.
Okay. I thank Mr. Bhavin Patel, co-founder and CEO of London Club, to share his valuable insight on peer-to-peer industry. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful interview.
Thanks, Aditya. Have a good evening.
Thank you.